judges are ready, the fighters are ready, the boxing world is ready.
The fight starts now!
Let's go.
How do you like it? On the show.
So aggressive, so focused.
It all comes down to this. With a corner knockdown. Still the undisputed champion of the world.
Fight night, only on DAZN.
As expected, it's been another special week here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's been good to be back as well. We're at the Q, which is, as you can see behind me, is incredible, isn't it? We're not too far away from Kingdom Arena, the venue as well. That's what it's called, the venue, which is going to host the tennis in a couple of days as well. Barry Jones, Darren Barker. Gents, here we are again. It's been another good one.
It feels like we're here all the time, doesn't it? Which is great, actually, because these fight weeks are absolutely fantastic.
They are really special, isn't it, Darren? I mean, it doesn't get more special than, does it, an undisputed? I mean, look, it's good to be here for all the events, but an undisputed just makes it feel so much more special.
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, it ramps up, as they always do, it ramps up every day, every evening. It just gets that bit grander, that more exciting feel grows with every event. But the fight itself, I mean, it's just magical. It's got a bit of everything. There's so many ways that this fight could be won and lost for both. It's a proper fight.
You know, all week we've been saying it's the biggest and best fight that can be made. More best than biggest, right? Because money-wise, I mean, AJ Fury's still very, very big, and so many others. Is it better than Shakur versus Gervonta? Is it better than that?
I think so. It might not be a bigger fight commercially, I'm not quite sure, but it's a better fight. I think if you did a survey of all boxing fans, which is the fight you'd want to make, I think this one would come out on top.
Yeah.
Because they're both, forget about the ages, they both look still in the peak of their powers. It's the best versus the best. And stylistically, it can help but deliver.
Yeah.
It'll be an absolute war.
And for that reason, I think we're going to get a lot of people cross over to boxing. I think a lot of fans, sports fans, are going to get interested in boxing a little bit because of the build-up of this fight, because of the fight itself is going to deliver, and I think a lot of people are going to come over to boxing and really get involved in the sport. And
so they should as well, because this is something really, really special. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. This is large from Barstool with a bit about the big one.
October the 12th, live from Saudi Arabia, two undefeated titans put it all on the line as they stake their claim for the light heavyweight throne. Beterbiev versus Bivol.
You know, when I was a little kid, I have many fights in the street.
Okay.
And my older brothers decide to put this energy in some sport, you know, and I have less fights in the street.
When I was going in the ring against guys my age, I was feel myself more confident that he's a kid, like,
right.
You know,
Yeah.
because I was training with older guys. I was competing sometimes with older guys. I don't know. I just was enjoying the boxing.
Right.
Both guys have kind of dedicated their lives to the sport. You know, I'm sure without knowing too much, both upbringings were pretty tough, you know, and humble, to say the least. But both guys have made the moves in their career to follow their dreams in boxing.
Yeah, it's injuries. I think it's part of sport.
Yeah.
Injuries always comes with sport, any sport, you know. It's happened, and I try to keep this fight, like to do this fight, even I have injury, but it's a little bit tough, like, you know, and our team, everyone, doctor and everyone say, like, we need to postpone this fight.
Right.
But I don't want to do postpone.
Came through the pros, had a little bit of an injury a couple times here, got held off, but then all of a sudden Callum Smith happened, and I felt like he turned back the clock.
Callum Smith backed into the ropes now. Beterbiev pouring it on. Right hands, left hands. Smith is down for the first time.
You know, Beterbiev is the more. I feel he has the tools to do it. Bivol's going to have to step up a bit more.
So many fighters have had success early against Beterbiev, but no one's been able to keep him off for the duration. And it's going to take a master boxer like Dmitry Bivol to do it.
For both fighters, adversity has been a constant companion, but it's also become a source of strength. Beterbiev is a father of 4 now, so he's fighting for more than just money or for titles. He's fighting for his family, he's fighting for the future of his children, and for the pride of his ancestry.
He hasn't shown anything but brilliance,
right?
So he's up very high, and I don't think we've seen the best of Artur now. And the thing I love about him is he's going to come in for the kill and go for the knockout.
I think these guys are tough, focused, that mentality, that real stoic, I'm going to do it. That's their mentality.
So for Bivol, humility probably is his greatest asset, even though he's become an international superstar. And that's because every fight that he takes, he sees it as a chance to pay back that family that's made so many sacrifices for him. And he's proving that success doesn't necessarily change who you are.
I wanted to fight against the best boxers in light heavyweight divisions. This was two of my goals, to make my name in this sport. And he has this belt, so Artur, Beterbiev, thank you.
You know, here, for me, you've got 2 of the best fighters in the world, 2 pound-for-pound greats. I actually think this is the best fight in boxing.
And when you take both of those into consideration, they've done everything. Both guys independently have an incredible body of work, and their styles just complement each other.
It's an intriguing fight. It's a, I mean, it is a Game of Thrones, isn't it? You've got 4 belts there, and somebody's going to walk away with those belts.
Dmitry's ice cold. So's Artur, to be fair.
This great event will be shown worldwide on DAZN.
Alrighty guys, that's it. We got nothing left to do but fight. And I want to stress one last time, this fight is between 2 very different individuals, different styles, different upbringings, but they're fighting for the exact same thing, and it isn't titles. They're fighting for their legacy. They're fighting for their integrity, their identity, and most importantly, their family.
There you go. I mean, if you wasn't excited, I mean, you are now, aren't you? Because that is an incredible showdown. I mean, we've been changing our minds so much about this one, haven't we? I mean, you keep flip-flopping all the time, don't you? or is it now Dmitry Bivol?
Where are you talking about? I've said Bivol from the off.
Have you said Bivol from the off?
Don't get me wrong. There's been times this week where I thought, man, Beterbiev is the real deal. Like this man, 20, 20, and 20. At any point in this fight, he can knock him out. But I'm sticking to my guns here.
I'm always quite solid with my picks. I mean, I get them wrong quite often, but I mean, if I got a thought process behind it, I stick with it. So I picked Bivol even before it was announced. When it was just mentioned, I thought Bivol for me, but I wasn't 100% confident. And all I do is talk to people and say I pick Bivol, and then I give reasons why Beterbiev will win. Because that's the sort of fight it is, and that's why you know it's a good fight, because you're second guessing your own mind. Like I can just give you so many reasons now why Beterbiev will beat Bivol.
Yeah.
Probably more reason why he can win than Bivol can, but I'm still thinking that Bivol will just know enough, do enough, and be smart enough just to get over the line.
Where are you going now? You're the one that changes.
I keep flipping. You know why I keep flip-flopping? Just because of what he said there as well. I think I can see more reasons as to why Beterbiev wins, but I think Bivol wins. Which kind of doesn't make sense, does it? It kind of doesn't make sense, which is why I guess it's such a good fight, which is why everyone's really interested in. Is this genuine 50-50? Are we talking as close to it as possible? No.
I think it's as close as possible. I think you have to make Beterbiev a favourite. Because as Darren said, 20-0, 20 knockouts. He knocks you out in the first round, he can knock you out in the 12th round. He's knocking out boxers, he's knocking out punchers. There's no style that he hasn't beaten, there's no record he hasn't beaten. In every minute of every round, he can knock you out for the full distance. And I said this the other week about how the concentration is impossible to see concentrated for 3 minutes of every round. And for the 12-round distance, it's an unattainable task. So when you switch off, if he's switched on, you're done. And that's the danger. And everyone's found that. Even people who've taken him late have found that.
It's incredible, isn't it? And that's why we're also intrigued about it. We're also intrigued about the British heavyweight title fight between Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark. Their first fight was incredible. We're expecting it to continue into their second fight. I was unlucky, or maybe lucky, to be in between both of them for a face-off.
I never didn't respect Fabio. You know, we didn't have a relationship beforehand, but we're in British boxing. We see each other at shows and stuff like that. It's never been a case of being disrespectful towards him. I respect what he's done. It's just the same as any competitor. He's got something that I wanted.
Build up to a fight, there's some needle, some back and forth, some things said. All of that really goes out of the window once you Once you share 12 hellish rounds with someone, there's a good level of respect there for it. There's some unsettled business here. I'm not happy with the draw.
Everyone has their goals, but for me, you know, the British clashes, the heavyweights, I think the first one was so good, you know, I'm just not even the fight, just the atmosphere, the build-up. Who wouldn't want to do that again, you know? And I think we suited each other really well. You know, we made a really good fight.
I'm not gonna lie or disagree and say it was a close fight, because we both had good back and forth moments. But I would say if you split the fight down the middle, then that point deduction mixed with the knockdown, that brings me out as a winner. I think that much is obvious. Ultimately, all that matters is we've ticked that one off and we're set up for round 13.
I just think it's like I say, nothing, but I just think it's a bit naive for him to think that he's just going to blow me over like he did the first time, you know. What they see.
I didn't say anything about blowing you over.
No, but the way you're talking, just like you're going to turn up and just win.
I'm going to turn up and win. I didn't say I'm going to blow you over, though. No, I'm going to turn up and win.
Yeah. It sounded like you feel it's going to be an easy job.
Not at all.
Well, that's just the way it sounds.
I didn't say easy.
It's just the way it sounds.
Blow you over. I didn't
just
say
the way it sounds.
Things. I just said I'm going to turn up and win.
It's just the way it sounds. What matters is October 12th, when that first ball goes, who's on it, who's learned from the mistakes, who's willing to go to the dark places. I know I am. I expect he is. But he's going to be clever when they're doing that. I believe I will.
There you go, the big boys. And I almost feel like every card should have a heavyweight fight on it. But this is going to be something crazy. I mean, the first fight, Barry, was just war. It was war, wasn't it?
You know, I almost never went, and I'm so glad I decided to go on a bank holiday Sunday. It was a great atmosphere and a war. It really was. And we know Fabio Wardy does like a war, but Fraser Clark we thought was intelligent enough not to get involved in one. But Wardy has that magic, doesn't he, Darren? He drags you into a war, and he does it very early.
Yeah, and he's been bullish all week, and he really fancies he can do the same thing on the flip side. So does Fraser Clark. They both ticked a box that night when they proved to themselves they had bundles of heart, bundles of will to win. For me, this is round 13. I've been saying it all week. I've been saying it since the rematch was announced. This is going to catch fire straight away. Again, because of that first fight, it's a real pick-em. Who would have made the correct adjustments this time to get the victory? Could we even see, I mean, I don't know, you're a bit of an encyclopedia. Have we ever seen back-to-back draws?
Oh, no, we have. And it was Julian Lawsey versus someone Castillo, which was a super featherweight title. I know that because
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that was back in 1998. 2 world title fights, 2 draws, and then they had to have 2 fighters to box for the vacant title, which was me. So that's why I know that quite luckily. But this fight, you usually think that Fraser Clark, being the better boxer and the better boxing brain, can adjust the better. You usually find that because they learn their lesson and know to adapt. So you think he would go in there with more information, so better armed for the contest. But I'm still picking Wardley. I mean, I picked Wardley in the first fight, and I actually thought Fraser Clark won it. Even though he got knocked down in a public one, I thought he won enough rounds to win the fight. But I still think now that Wardley he's just such an animal that he drags you in.
Yeah, so many title fights on this card, so many guys that are in that pound-for-pound discussion. The next man is definitely going to be in that discussion and is a champion as well and defends his IBF Cruiserweight title against Jack Massey. That man is Jai Patai. Here's a bit more about the Australian.
We've been training and working our ass off ever since I can remember. You know what I mean? Like, we were coming through the rankings, not a fucking dollar to our name, you know, struggling. And we waited for opportunity like that, you know? So it means too much to give up. I feel like this is where I'm meant to be. You know, my life has been molded and built to be on these big stages. It's been a crazy journey, you know, but it's getting good.
My earliest memory of Jai, we were on a futures training camp when we were probably 14, 15 years old. And we were a group of young athletes who were told we're the future of Australian boxing. We were the ones that were picked out as talent and of people who could potentially be future stars. To have gone on and actually achieved what we have, I think it's hats off to Australian boxing.
I think people forget this guy was one of the youngest Olympians for Australia as a boxer. I think he was 16 or 17. So he was fighting men at the Olympics at 16. Again, it goes to that fear thing. He has no fear.
Honestly, at the time, it was massive, you know what I mean? Like, being a young kid, being all over the world, but it's my apprenticeship to where I am today.
I mean, it was exceptional, and what was so exceptional about it is the age in which he competed in these major tournaments. Not just competing, but qualifying for the tournaments. They're so tough, and it just shows the mental toughness of such a young man.
I knew that it was big deals back then, you know, like you're fighting for world titles and, you know, world championships, but the experience that I got when I was a young kid, and I'm lucky I got to do it young. Every weekend was a different tournament. You know, we had like 14 fights in like 4 weeks, stuff like that. Like, it was just, it builds you, you know, you understand what you're made of, you get uncomfortable. You get comfortable being uncomfortable.
I think his kind of stamp on the world scene came later than, I guess, the Australian boxing community, who have known Jai right from the beginning and have always known what a talent he is since he was a young amateur. He's been extremely talented from the start. The world's only just getting to find out, and I just think there's so much more to come from Jai.
I'm confident walking in the gym because I know I dedicate myself and I tick every box. I know these guys can't take me deeper than what I already take myself. You know, I chase pain at the gym, you know, push through it all. So
I think Jai has the potential to go down as a pound-for-pound great.
And hopefully we have unifications and undisputed fights for him in the future, because I think he's ready to dominate the division.
I want an undisputed cruiserweight champion. Then we move up. We can go to bridgeweight, win a world title there. Go to heavyweight, win a world title there. I honestly believe I can do these things.
Jai Pattaya, I think, just a sensational fighter. I said just before, you saw the package, potentially a pound-for-pound star. Did we see, though, chinks in the armour, small chinks in the armour against Marius Bradis? Because we've all been saying he's the next Alexander Usyk. Do we need to rein those type of statements in?
I think we do. I think, you know, the first fight, you know, against Bradis, he did, you know, with all the injuries he had, the broken jaw, he did so well in a close fight. And then he had two fights, you know, a couple of fights where he boxed below his level and looked phenomenal, this animal we've been talking about. But I think we're getting carried away with his demeanour outside the ring. Yeah. You know, he looks fierce. I mean, he looks at you like he wants to walk right through you every time. And so he doesn't box that way. He's actually a boxer with a bit of power, I think. So in the Bradis fight, again, Bradis still a good fighter, though past his sell-by date, but still very good. He struggled a little bit, and so he should against Marius Bradis. Most cruiserweights still would. So I think we have to realise he might be the best cruiserweight on the planet still, but this all gets just calmed down a bit, because Jack Massey is a hard test for anyone.
Yeah, exactly what Barry said there. It was Marius Bradis. He's still a very, very good fighter, dangerous fighter. So I don't look at what happened later on in that fight as you know, we got carried away. I think, look, there's an awful lot to like about him. I do think he's probably not as scary as we make out. But I spoke to him on Monday at the media day that I've mentioned a few times, and I've never seen him so fired up, because he understands that Jack Massey has the opportunity to be a world champion. He's going to give his absolute everything. But on the flip side, Pattaya has the opportunity to potentially go into a unification, an undisputed fight himself. Then talking about moving up divisions, he has to win. So he understands that the pot of gold for him is just as big as it is for Jack Massey.
Yeah, Sky Nicholson has her own pot of gold as well. Remember, she defends her WBC featherweight title against Raven Chapman. Both females will be the first female fight on a Riyadh season card, so good luck to both of them as well. So many enigmas on this card, so many egos. I guess the biggest one, enigma and ego, is Chris Eubank Jr. Here's a bit about the man.
Just give me a ring.
Just speaks his mind.
And some gloves.
Says what he wants.
It's anybody's ass.
Maybe a little arrogant.
I don't have anything to prove now. It's clear to see. You can Google it.
He inherited his father's eccentric personality.
Chris Eubank Jr. is back. New promotional team, new trainer. On the promotional team, you've chosen boxer. Why?
Why boxer? Because every other promoter out here is a scumbag.
Welcome back, Chris. Harmony in the room, as expected. I feel like a lot of boxers follow each other. He follows no one.
I'm not a robot like a lot of these other guys in the sport.
Taller than I thought you'd be.
Boxing needs characters, and Eubank Jr. is certainly a character.
Anything I say is the truth, and I back it up. Being the villain, being the bad guy, none of it matters to me anymore. If I was talking the talk but not walking the walk, that to me is ego. But I walk the walk. I think I'm somebody that people love to hate, and that's what sells.
You sometimes feel like he's on the cusp of being elite, but then there's a pause, there's a break, or there's a defeat.
The Saunders rematch will happen. It's extremely personal between me and him. You know, a lot of people don't think he won that fight in, that first fight. I don't think he won it, but he has the win. So, we have to set the record straight once and for all. I would love that fight as I walk out of this room if he's standing there. That's what he is to me. He is an enemy.
Two other names that are constantly linked with you, Conor Ben and Canelo.
Those fights will happen, but I'm not looking past Kamil Szeremeta. Any slip up here and all my aspirations of these big fights go down the toilet. I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna do a job on this guy.
Even though we are probably at the final chapter of his career, hopefully, we start to see some really good fights.
He's a young 35. He doesn't go out partying, drinking, etc. Looks after his body.
If you were to kind of plug him into a machine, he's probably 28.
When you're 35 years old, there's certain things that you feel that you didn't feel when you're in your 20s, that's for sure. But in general, as a whole, I feel amazing. Tip top. And I know I've still got at least 3-4 years left in me of great fights, and I'm excited.
Eubank Jr. he brings a smile to all of our faces because I think we all appreciate him. We all expected and wanted a bit more. He is 35. Is there going to be more? It's just question mark, question mark, question mark.
The thing is, we always question his desire. What was he in the sport for? And you tend to think, if you're not in it to win more titles, what are you doing? But your motivation is your motivation. If for him it's just big fights and big money, then he's where he wants to be. This is not a massive fight for him, but for the layoff he's had, this is a decent test because this is a guy who's been in against good fighters, and you can, if you can do a better job, then that's some sort of gauge and selling point for a bigger fight. No, pretty much soon after you would have thought for Eubank. So, but also there's a pressure there. He has to perform, and he has to perform very well.
Yeah, I think so. When you look at Szeremeta, who he lost to, Munguia and Golovkin, round 6, round 7, instantly you look at this and think a bit of time has passed since then. Szeremeta's not going to be as good as he was then. This has to be a demolition job. If you're talking about the big fights, when you say more with Chris Eubank, I think what we will see is more big fights. He's a big draw. Not just in the UK, but across the pond, over here as well. People want to see him fight. He's a bit like Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. He's going to be in big fights. 35 now, but he's a fresh 35-year-old. He lives the life. And
doesn't drink.
He doesn't drink, doesn't do, none of that. He lives the life. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot more of Chris Eubank Jr., no doubt.
And he's probably one of the only fighters as well that's got fighters from 4 divisions calling them out, from 147 to 168, which is incredible. Chris Eubank Jr. is on the card on Saturday, and this is the full fight card that you can expect. Marco Maric will take on Pablo Rosas in a lightweight contest. Mohamed Alakail, the local fighter from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, now based in Scotland, takes on Jesus Gonzalez. Ben Whittaker takes on Liam Cameron. That's a good fight, that one. Sky Nicholson versus Raven Chapman for the WBC World Featherweight title. Chris Eubank Jr., we're just speaking about him. He takes on Kamil Szeremeta for the vacant IBO middleweight title. And then come the big ones. IBF Cruiserweight title on the line. Jai Opetaia takes on Jack Massey. Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark 2 for the British heavyweight title. And then, as you can see, all the belts, all the marbles, Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol to decide who is the best light heavyweight in the world.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
You read it out and it's like, wow, this is good, isn't it? I mean, it's got a bit of everything. It's got characters, it's got pound for pound stars, you got the female title fight, which is important, and then you got two of the best, two of the very, very best in the same division, 50-50 scrap. This is going to be good.
It's so amazing. You got real tactical affairs there. You've got wars of attrition. You've got literally bang-ups as well with the two heavyweights. A heavyweight bang-up, that's enough.
Yeah.
But the main fight is the selling point. It's a generational fight, I feel. And I can't wait to watch it.
I can't wait as well, and I'm guessing you can't wait either. Make sure you join us on Saturday. Don't miss this one. It's not just an undisputed title fight. There are title fights throughout the card. Should be a good one. We'll see you Saturday.
Legend tells, at the peak of the highest mountain in all the lands, there lay dormant for thousands of years. A mystical crown, untouched, with the power to rule all of mankind. Lusted by men. Willing to die for its gift. Sacrificing everything. Before them, a terrifying journey awaits.
In my lifetime, I have seen many strong and brave warriors pass this way to claim the crown. I have not seen them since.
Unspeakable horrors, relentless agony, a wasteland of the fallen. Hunted from the shadows, they danced with death. But the two defied the fate of mortals. Knocking down thousands before them. Braving the path to glory. Challenging every fiber of their being. While two emerged undefeated. There could be only one possible outcome. For one to wield the power to rule them all.
You've seen it, haven't you? The smiling face. I've traced the string of deaths to you. Nobody has survived longer than a week.
I will not let this thing use me.
You're nearly out of time.
Smile too.